So you know that feeling you get like when you meet someone and they just like radiate this kind of magnetic energy, like they walk into a room and everyone just kind of stops and notices. Well, Sabrina Carpenter's Espresso kind of captures that vibe perfectly. And today we're going to go beyond just like breaking down the lyrics. We're going to treat espresso like it's a conversation, trying to uncover the secrets of confidence and that just unforgettable it factor that some people just seem to have.
Yeah, and it's interesting because like espresso isn't just about confidence. It's about like a type of confidence.
Yeah.
Right? There's this playfulness to it, almost a challenge that kind of takes it to a whole other level.
For sure. Okay, so let's just jump right into it. The song opens with, "Now he's thinking about me every night." Oh. It's like we're eavesdropping on someone just casually dropping this like bombshell. What do you think about that opening line?
Oh, it's a total power move.
Yeah.
But it's done in such a light way.
Yeah.
Right?
Yep.
Oh, at the end, almost makes it sound like an afterthought. Like, it's just a simple fact, you know? And it reminds me of the peak end rule in psychology. Have you ever heard of that?
I'm not sure I have.
It's the idea that we tend to remember experiences based on like the most intense moments and then how they end. So if you can just leave someone thinking about you long after you're gone, you've kind of already won half the battle.
Oh, that's interesting. Yeah, it's like planting a seed in their mind, and it just keeps growing every time they think about you, even when they're trying to sleep. And then it's that next line that really sets the whole mood, Say you can't sleep, baby. I know. That's me espresso. It's bold, playful, definitely memorable.
Yeah, comparing yourself to espresso, it's such a powerful metaphor. Espresso is strong. It wakes you up, can even keep you up all night. It's not for everyone, and neither is this person. They're owning their intensity and how much of an impact they can have on someone's life.
I wonder if it's kind of like that whole dangerously attractive thing. Like there's a little bit of risk involved, but that just makes them even more appealing.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. There's actually a ton of research on this psychology of attraction. And one thing that comes up again and again is how appealing novelty and unpredictability can be. And this person is definitely not predictable.
Not at all. And then we get the line, "Switch it up like Nintendo." So not only are they a force to be reckoned with, but they're also adaptable, always keeping you on your toes.
Totally. It really speaks to this sense of control, of being willing to set the pace and change the game whenever they feel like it. And it plays into that whole idea of being memorable, too. You're not just one thing. You're constantly evolving and surprising people.
Yeah. It's like they're saying, I'm not just a player in your game. I'm the one designing the levels. And speaking of levels, let's get into the next layer of this whole espresso persona. The song goes on to say, I can't relate to desperation. My give-a-fucks are on vacation. What's going on here?
This line is all about self-worth and boundaries. Like it's a declaration of independence, of refusing to get caught up in all the drama and insecurity.
Yeah. It reminds me of the whole concept of emotional intelligence, being able to manage your own emotions, set boundaries, and not let outside things control how you feel. It's so important for real confidence.
It totally is. And it's the opposite of being needy or desperate for attention. It's saying, I'm good on my own and I'm choosing to share my energy with you. It's not a need, it's a choice.
Okay, so we've got confidence, a little bit of a dangerous side, and emotional intelligence. What else can we figure out from this espresso conversation?
The next up is a line that really shows off the playful side of this person. It's a bit of a curveball, so get ready. All right, so it's, my twisted humor makes him laugh so often. My honeybee, come and get this pollen.
It's such a crazy mix, right? Going from like dark humor to this sweet, almost innocent bee and pollen thing.
Yeah, that one really got me. What do you think is going on with that? Like, what are they trying to say?
I think it's showing off how they're not just one thing, They're not just intense and confident. They're also witty and someone you want to be around. And having a good sense of humor, especially if it's kind of offbeat, is super attractive. Yeah, for sure. Makes you seem smart, creative. And it creates this connection, like you're in on something together.
Exactly. And don't forget that honeybee, come and get this pollen part. It adds a whole other layer.
Yeah, like what do you think that means?
It's almost like saying, I'm not just fun to be around. I'm also good for you. I've got something valuable to offer.
It's that perfect mix of confidence and being playful.
Yeah.
Not afraid to be themselves, even if it's a little weird, and they pull people in with their energy and how funny they are. But I gotta wonder, is there like a little manipulation in that whole come and get this pollen line?
That's a good question. And I think it depends on how you see it. On one hand, it could be just a playful invitation. Like, hey, I'm putting myself out there. Come see what I'm about. But on the other hand, it could be more calculated, like trying to lure someone in.
Like a spider web.
Exactly. And that's what makes this person so interesting. They're not an open book, and that keeps things exciting.
Right. Okay, so let's switch gears a bit and talk about how the song ends. Move it up, down, left, right. Oh, it feels like they're totally in control.
Oh, yeah. Definitely a sense of control there. It's like they're saying, I'm the one in charge of where I'm going, and if you want to come along, you got to follow my lead.
And they make it sound so easy that, oh, at the end is almost like a little tease. Like they're having fun and they know you are too. Even if you're not sure what's going to happen next.
You know, it reminds me of the halo effect. Have you heard of that?
I don't think so.
It's this idea that people who seem attractive and confident get more of a pass, and we think they have other good qualities even if we don't know for sure.
So if you give off that espresso energy, people might just go along with whatever you want, even if they're not totally sure where you're taking them.
Exactly. It's like they've created this aura of confidence that makes people trust their gut and just follow along.
Okay, so to recap, we've got confidence, a little danger, a good amount of humor, and a whole lot of self-awareness. This whole espresso thing is like a lesson in how to be magnetic. But I think there's one more piece we need to talk about.
What's that?
It's got to be authentic. It can't just be about acting confident. It's about actually being yourself, even the parts that might be a little messy.
You're so right. I think you nailed it.
Yeah.
There's a realness and even some vulnerability in the lyrics that makes this person relatable, even with all that confidence they have.
Okay, so we've broken down this espresso personality and found all this cool stuff about confidence, attraction, and being your true self. But how do we actually use this in our own lives? Like, how can we make our own version of espresso energy?
I'm glad you asked that, because I think there are some things we can take away from all this that can help us all.
So we've got all this stuff about the espresso personality, right? Confidence, a little bit of danger, a good amount of humor, and knowing yourself really well. It's like a masterclass in how to be someone people are drawn to. But how do we actually do that in our own lives? Like making our own version of espresso energy. It can't just be about pretending to be confident, can it?
You're totally right. It has to be real. Think about that line. My twisted humor makes him laugh. It's not just about being funny. It's about being funny in your own way, embracing what makes your humor different.
Okay, so step one is figuring out what makes you stand out. What's that special ingredient in your espresso? But that's hard. There's so much pressure to be a certain way. How do we block all that out and just be ourselves?
It starts with knowing yourself.
Yeah.
What are you drawn to naturally? What makes you lose track of time? What are you really good at, even if other people think it's weird? Those are all clues.
Like those personality tests, but instead of just a bunch of words, we're looking for the things that make us feel good inside.
Exactly. And once you know what those things are, don't be afraid to really go for it. That's where that whole give a fucks are on vacation thing comes in. When you know who you are, you don't need other people to tell you you're good enough.
So we've our espresso strengths. We're not worried about pleasing everyone what's next. How do we make that confidence something other people see and feel?
Remember how espresso is all about that push and pull? Like, say you can't sleep, that's that me espresso. It's attractive, but also a little scary. You can do that in your own life by setting boundaries. You're not always available. You're not changing yourself to fit in with someone else.
So it's like saying, this is me, take it or leave it, but doing it without being arrogant? That's hard to do.
It is. And that's where being able to switch it up like Nintendo comes in. Being confident doesn't mean you can't change. It means being okay with yourself enough to change depending on the situation and who you're with, but always staying true to what you believe in.
So it's like a balance. Being firm, but also open to new things and new people. Like espresso, you've got that strong base, but you can add different stuff to it.
I like that. And remember that confidence spreads. When you really believe in yourself, other people feel that. It's magnetic.
So by being our true espresso selves, we're not just making our own lives better, we're making the world more interesting too.
For sure. Who wouldn't want a little more espresso in their life?
So true. Before we go, what's one thing you would tell our listeners who are ready to find their own confidence and charm?
Don't be afraid to stand out. Be playful. Be a little dangerous. Embrace what makes you you, and the world will notice.
I love that. So go out there and be the espresso you're meant to be. We'll be back next time with another deep dive into the hidden messages all around us. Until then, stay caffeinated.